This is an example of a text set for the content area reading class, and I'd like to go over some of the major requirements to make sure that you can score well on your rubric for our text set. Please make sure that you've printed out or saved the instruction sheet that's in this section of the module and read it over very, very carefully. So this is a title slide. This was done in a PowerPoint, of course, but as we said in the directions, you can use Prezi or any kind of other electronic presentation tool that you would like, but just make sure it's something that's easily looked at by other systems. So one of the most important parts of your text set, in fact the most important part, is that you carefully select a topic and a rationale for that topic. We don't want you to just say, I want to do a text set on penguins for science. There's no rationale behind that. What are the student objectives? Why on earth, yes, you love penguins and so do the kids, but why on earth would you spend instructional time with a text set on penguins? So you want to maybe look at SOL objectives or at textbook objectives for your subject area. Think about something that you really want to teach, a topic that you really want to teach. You can certainly use the ones you provided in the very first week of class, but you don't have to if you want to change your mind. So on this slide, you're going to include the grade level that you are teaching. In this case, it was a SPAN because it was a unit for a middle school teacher. You're going to include the subject. This was a team taught one, so they had social studies and English, but you could have just social studies, science, math, physical education, English, whatever your subject might be. What's missing from this particular slide is a topic. So you also would like to, I'd like you to insert right in here, whether you want to call it a theme or a topic or a concept, what is the name of the main thing that you're focusing on? Obviously, in this case, it was the Underground Railroad. So that's where you would put right here, you'd put your topic, Underground Railroad. The rationale is your very, very important part along with your guiding concepts. So this person said that there are many books about the Underground Railroad, but these selections focus on the interactions between blacks and whites as they worked against the institution of slavery because they believed it was wrong. Very important here. This person didn't just grab 10 books about Underground Railroad off of the shelf and throw them into the PowerPoint. She selected them for this rationale. This is what she wanted students to look for when they were using these texts. So make sure that you think about a very broad, very big idea, very important part. Why are we bothering, again, why are we using instructional time to look at these texts and put that in your rationale? To help support your rationale, you want to include some guiding concepts. You could also call these, if you would rather put here, objectives. Unlike your lesson plan, these objectives could be content related, no problem with that. But what are your objectives? What do you want students to get out of this? So these are not worded as objectives, but they could be. There were many people of diverse backgrounds involved in the Underground Railroad, men, women, children, Quakers, old, young, and white. So this is a concept that she wants her students to understand, that there were many people of diverse backgrounds. And then the other concept is when people see something they know is wrong, they can work together to make changes. So yours may be more specific. If you're doing something with mathematics, it may be very specific to learning a particular concept. That's fine. This is just one example, but again, this is a very important part you need to do. It may be a good idea, if you're not sure about this part, get it done and email it to us and we'll take a look at it and make sure that you're on the right track before you go to all the work of selecting your text set. And then your slides are going to reflect your 8 to 10 linguistic selections, and they have to represent at least 5 different genres, and also 3 to 5 non-linguistic selections, and we'll see those in a few minutes. The important part about this is these are annotated bibliography slides. They must be cited correctly using APA style. You want to include the level that you think would hit your students. Like, is it going to be for your average readers, your lower readers, your higher readers, or maybe appropriate for all? Maybe it's a read aloud. And if you you also need to include what the genre is. So the genre here is historic fiction. And then you have a summary of what is going on. But the really important part is, why did you use this for this particular text set? And here is that explanation. Multiple characters provide a variety of perspectives and illustrate the theme that people of varied backgrounds work together to overcome something they knew was wrong. So right away we know that this text was selected because it clearly supports the rationale and guiding concepts. And that's what we need to see in every one of your selections. Way too many times people pull text sets together just by going and grabbing every book they can on a subject. And again, that's not what this needs to be. So you can go through and look at each of these and see how they did them. This is a sample, so it's not perfect. It's just something to give you an idea of where you're headed with. We've seen all sorts of different samples with, more detail and interesting creativity, and some with far less. Here's another one. This one is from a genre of letters and primary documents. This one is a primary source, which isn't really. This one is short stories. This is a picture book. This is a diary or fiction. Okay, and if you were to read through each of these, you would probably notice that at some points this person didn't do a real good job linking back to her purpose, her objectives, and rationale. You want to make sure you do that in each selection. Okay. And I'm going to pop through here because the next part is the non-linguistics, and you can have these at the end or you can interweave them within the text set slides. These are, as we described, materials that students can use to construct meaning, but they don't read them per se. They're not reading the text. This is, as we go back to what literacy is, this could be involved with viewing, speaking, listening, different things like this. This particular one is a picture book and actual gourds that, when they talk about the drinking gourd, and then there's a song to go along with it. This person wanted to bring a quilt, and again, why did you include this? So here's the item, but how does it link back to my rationale? And websites, you can see this person went above and beyond and got more than 3 to 5 items. So that should cover most of the requirements for this. Please take a look at the rubric and make sure you read over each of those criteria. And again, don't hesitate to contact us if you have questions. And enjoy putting this together. Hope it will become a resource that you will use and your colleagues will use for years to come.